Hey, Brad with Pause and Effect here. We are going to do another round of Wi-Fi testing. So today's Friday. Hope everybody's having a great week. As you know, Pause and Effect is focused on all things positive. One of the things that I do throughout the week that's not Pause and Effect related is I have to work my own job. And so working my job, I do presentations and demos of software to companies all across the United States. And so to be able to do that, I have to have very good internet. And we are now full-time. We spent the last 2 years about 80% travel in our RV. And now as of August 4th, we sold our house. We are fully full-time. So it's very important that our hotspots work effectively so that I can do my job and continue this lifestyle. So this is our third episode in the Wi-Fi testing. So as we travel around, we do some Wi-Fi testing. And today we're going to do some more Wi-Fi testing. Unlike the last two times where I switch networks, and that causes about a 30-second or 40-second delay before I come to the other network, I've already done the test. I've ran the speed tests. I'm going to share those speed tests with you. As I said on a previous call, we have, hello, Going Green Mom. We're doing some Wi-Fi tests this morning and also going to do some other chats about positivity and happiness, smiling, helping others, paying it forward, all those good concepts, and send everybody into the weekend with a smile on their face, hopefully. So we're going to test out 3 different Wi-Fi hotspots today. We've got our AT&T hotspot. That is OTR Mobile is my provider, but they use the AT&T network. We use a Netgear Nighthawk. This one's been pretty stable for us. So the tests usually come back pretty good on this one. However, I should say that you can no longer get this program through OTR Mobile, unfortunately. They have transitioned to T-Mobile only. So hold on just a second. Let me get that modem. So we've also got the OTR T-Mobile Pink plan. What's interesting is it says it's AT&T. This is a device AT&T. Actually, the Wi-Fi network is called an AT&T network, but the provider is actually T-Mobile. You can see up in the corner up here, it says T-Mobile. So we'll run a test on that as well. And it's basically a ZTE modem provided by AT&T, but it's unlocked and it uses the Verizon or the T-Mobile network. And then we've also got a Verizon hotspot, which is a MiFi Jetpack 2. All of these are unlimited. So the OTR Mobile T-Mobile and the OTR Mobile AT&T are both fully unlimited, but they've got a fair use policy. So there's no real exact science to fair use policy, but if you're going up at 400 500 gigs a month, you're probably going to run into some challenges there where they might start throttling you. So that's why we've got multiple plans, is to kind of get away from that fair use policy. And then also on this Verizon one, which is my backup if the other two don't work, we have this one 15 gigs a month, and then it's throttled after that. So we're going to do some testing. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the speed test that we ran and show you what the results from the location that we're at now. And actually, we are in Missouri, Desoto, Missouri, outside of Desoto about 3 miles. So we're in the country, in the sticks a little bit, outside of a small town called Desoto, Missouri. It's about 50 miles, 45 miles or so south of the city of St. Louis. Yeah, how much do they cost? So the modem itself, you have to purchase the modem when you go through OTR Mobile. The Nighthawk is around a $400 device. I don't think OTR offers that device anymore because that was with their AT&T network. So we're grandfathered with this. But the service is $80 a month. It started at $60, they raised it to $80. Sometime earlier this year, late last year, OTR Mobile decided to switch to T-Mobile, and they were going to do away with the AT&T plan completely. But so many people, including me, did not want to switch to T-Mobile. They grandfathered some of us. Recently, I went ahead and got T-Mobile when we went full time, just as kind of a backup for all of our other devices that aren't work related, that aren't mission critical for my job. We connect our TVs and tablets and other stuff to the T-Mobile plan. The T-Mobile plan, I think this device was only about $160, maybe, if I remember correctly, maybe $200. And then the plan also is $80 a month on the T-Mobile Pink Blast plan. Verizon's plan, which I'm not sure if you can get this plan anymore. I originally got a prepaid plan where I paid for each gig. They then converted that to unlimited to try to compete with the unlimited plans, but it's throttled at 15 gigs. But it's the same price, $80 a month, but you only get 15 gigs and it's throttled. Now let's talk about how well they work. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up the test that I previously did here. Hold on a second, let me get those ready to go. All right, sharing my screen. There we go. Go over here to the results. We are going to run this test. Actually, this is a recording of the test that I ran earlier. So we'll give it a run through here. And the first test is going to be against the T-Mobile. So it says AT&T Wi-Fi 3764, but that is actually my T-Mobile service. Again, it's through OTR Mobile. It's a T-Mobile service. And not horrible on the download speed. 6 megs. 6 megs would basically support conference calling, audio fairly decently. I've done 6 megs before, but the challenge I think we're going to have here is with the upload. The upload on T-Mobile out here in the country is abysmal. It's almost non-existent. It almost looks like the test isn't running. It's at 0% or 0 meg. So upload is really, really poor on T-Mobile. So I probably would not go live on StreamYard on T-Mobile. So if we change that network over to our actual AT&T network, we'll run that test again. With AT&T, you can see the download's quite a bit faster. .5 on the download. That's not fantastic for AT&T. But upload speed way than the T-Mobile. So with 9.5 download and 7.9 upload, I definitely could do a conference call, presentation, share my screen, and shouldn't have any issues there with audio or video. So AT&T is pretty solid. Again, that's AT&T over OTR Mobile using the Nighthawk router. Quite a bit better than the T-Mobile option. Amy, how are you? Thanks for coming in. We're doing a little bit of a testing here. And this is the Verizon. A little bit better on the download. AT&T. Actually, about twice as good. A little over twice as good, actually, right now. But on the upload speed, Verizon's a little bit suspect here. It seems a little choppy. Getting a little better. I've ran a few tests before this today as well, and it ranges between 1 to 4. So, the AT&T one seems to have a little bit more stability. And just for good measure, I went ahead and ran all the tests. So again, we're doing this is the T-Mobile. OTR Mobile is my provider. T-Mobile is the network. It's called a ZTE modem. Pretty similar to the first test, around six megs down. And once again, I believe it zeroes out. Upload speed just is not there. So if I was trying to do a StreamYard or trying to do any video chat, this network, if I was actually on it right now, would be failing. I probably would not be able to do StreamYard. I wouldn't be able to do a presentation or a proposal. All right, I think I ran AT&T and Verizon again, but I'm just going to go ahead and shut this off now because that was the main one that was bad. So let's come back over here, stop screen share. And that, again, that's from a little bit south of St. Louis, about 45 miles south of St. Louis in Desoto, Missouri. So if you are traveling around and you're in Jefferson County, DeSoto, Missouri, Hillsboro, you can probably see that Verizon, AT&T are good choices. T-Mobile seems to be a pattern here. This is our third test, and pretty much all three didn't turn out that great. So which one are we on right now? I believe I'm on my AT&T. That's pretty my default. Yeah, AT&T is who I'm connected to right now. I stay on AT&T most of the time unless they're having any challenges, and then I'll check Verizon, see if it's working, and switch over there if it's a little bit better. I've got 2 days left on Verizon, and I've used 11 gigs of backup is all I've used. So I'll probably switch over to Verizon here and just go ahead and use up those last 4 unthrottled gigs to use those up. On the Nighthawk Netgear here, it says, and this, I don't believe this is right. It says 8.7 gigabits of unlimited use. Usually it's close to 200 before the end of the month. We're about halfway through right now. And I'm pretty sure it was higher than that the other day. For some reason, I think they reset the counter mid-month for some reason. And then on T-Mobile, we got that a couple weeks ago. And we probably have not used very much on it at all. We've actually used 28 gigs on it in a couple of weeks, so like I say, it's still getting the job done. It's for our tablets, email checking, playing games. Chris uses it a lot. TV. So that most of the places we've been. I can see now. It looks like I'm buffering on the YouTube, but that could be the actual connection. My other laptop I've got behind here. It's buffering real, watching it over there. As I'm presenting, hopefully you guys can see me just fine on T-Mobile behind there. It's frozen up, but it's been a bit choppy. Okay, so if we think about AT&T, they were around 6 megs down and 4 to 6 megs up. So that's right at that threshold. If it buffers at all and goes down to around 3 megs, you really need about 3 point something megs to have really good audio and video, and a sustained 3 point something megs. So, that's what I usually look at. I try to have 3 plus before I even try to do a conference call or a demo. Ideally, anything over 10 is solid and good. So we don't have Sprint right now, but I think Sprint would probably come in right around T-Mobile. I said on previous sessions, I've got about 30 years experience in the mobile field of selling software to them. I was a technician way back in the day for MCI, which became WorldCom, which was purchased by Verizon. So know the networks fairly well. Verizon and AT&T are going to be clearly your best almost everywhere you go. T-Mobile and Sprint are probably going to be good in most large metropolitan areas, depending on the metropolitan area. But once you get out into the country, those are usually very hit and miss. Any other topics that you guys would like to talk about today, or any questions that y'all might have? As far as positivity, hi, Amy. I don't know if you've got your headset, but Start a panel out. That that people seem to struggle with us with have different perceptions, different opinions, especially when you get into the political realm. So I try to I'm back. Saying it looked like the AT&T network crashed me out there, so I might switch to Verizon here a minute and see how that is since I've got some stuff left. Hello, nursing our travel bug. Good to see you guys. I thought Daydream would have been checked out by now. I didn't get a chance to join them this morning. I've been on work calls until right at the top of the hour. This is really the only hour I had available for me to go live today. So that's why I went ahead and went live, did some speed tests, and I was just talking about positivity. And so one of the things that's been on my mind lately is people getting along. Why can't we all just get along? Why can't we be kind and peaceful people? It's an interesting time here during the pandemic. We're supportive of the people that are wearing masks. We've also, don't wear our masks all the time. Obviously, if we're going around folks that are in that risk group, we don't wear around our family, even though my parents are 80, they don't wear them. We just haven't been. It's just been personal preference. But we also don't shame anybody for doing it or not. And just seeing some of the stuff that's went on around that. And then you get into the political spectrum of things, and no matter how positive you try to keep things, we made a couple statements on social media, which I almost never do. I don't usually comment on them. And I made a statement didn't even say anything about the topic. It just said, I'm not sure why we can't all consider all violence bad, because I think that's my belief, is all violence is bad. It's not good. Even if I had to defend myself and take violence out somebody who's being violent to me, that doesn't mean that violence is good. I might do that. I would do that to protect my kids, protect my wife, probably to protect myself if I had to. But saying something, general statement, why can't we all just consider all violence is bad? And having people that will want to argue with you and tell you why certain violence is bad, to me, it really opens up a huge can of worms that you can't defend. You can't. If I get to choose what violence is good or bad, then you get to choose, and you get to choose, which means I can be violent to anybody I want for whatever reason I want. And my point was, we should all condemn all violence. It should be all violence, not just specific violence against some people. And so, the fact that we can't have those conversations without people getting mad at us and getting angry at us and telling us we missed the point, we're wrong, and we don't get it, is the problem. So to me, to be positive, I like to say positive things like, no matter what you think, I love and respect you as a human being. I may vote differently if I choose to vote. I may not vote, and if you judge me for not voting, that's a problem too. We should let people be people, and until they start harming someone, physical harm, sometimes verbal harm could be bad as well. But it just gets difficult when the government starts getting involved in trying to police those. To me, the government never does a good job at those types of things. And again, I want to focus on positivity. I want to make people smile. So I share lots of funny pet things. I'll share puns. I wish we could share things more like comedians back in the day, 40 years ago when I was a kid. Comedians that would be able to make fun of all people, regardless of race, gender, political affiliation. We just had lots of comedians that really would go through their skit and they would make fun of all types of people, and people would laugh. And I love to laugh and wish kind of that laughter mentality would come back to us, instead of we need to have repercussions for anybody that says anything about anyone for any reason. And so the one thing I was thinking today, it says you're in the green room. I don't see you. I don't see you there. What's going on here? Let's see, nursing our travel. Are you going to hang around St. Louis? The idea of doing a little bit of hangout came up with all the folks in the area. That's actually a question. We are in St. Louis right now, but we leave on Sunday to go to Cedar Rapids, or not Cedar Rapids, but Amana, Iowa, for the meetup with Aaron Jemison. So I'm going to do something. I saw Amy try to pop in there and pop away. I'm not sure if my network's good enough. It might be kicking you out. Okay, there she is. Can you hear me okay, Amy? All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring Amy in. We'll have a little bit of a powwow and answer that question around St. Louis.
How you doing?
Hi, Amy. Let me turn
I was
up my
down there
volume
for a
here.
while.
Hey there.
Yeah, I was
Thanks for
down
coming
there for a while.
in. It just kind of impromptu.
It works for
Happy
me.
Friday.
I got an echo.
You do.
Mine's off at my end.
Mine should be off, but I'm also not using a headset, so it might be picking up some of your.
Okay, I get it. All right. I understand.
Do you
That's
have an echo
fine.
with my voice or with your voice?
Hello, hello. I'm not hearing it at all now.
Okay, good.
It was my voice, though.
Okay, cool. I think it was probably my volume was up too loud on my laptop here. I'm hard of hearing, so I kind of have it up too loud for me to be able to hear, and then it causes the echo. What do you have planned for this weekend, Amy?
I'm kind of gearing towards starting to get things ready to go back to my other place. It's starting to get colder here at night. It's going to be 3 or 4 weeks, but I don't like to do it all in a couple of days. So I'm going to the other place and bringing more things here that need to stay here, so that if I need to stay here, I can.
Right.
But just enjoying the weather, enjoying family, enjoying the property. Picked blackberries yesterday. It was a beautiful thing there. But that's about all.
Awesome. So we'll come right back to that. I just wanted to wrap up this question that Nursing Our Travel Bug asked. We're in St. Louis through Sunday, then we go to Amana, Iowa. Then we're going to come back. We'll be in St. Louis just for a couple of days. I'll tell everybody why. I don't think we've told anybody that we had a little bit of an accident the day we moved out of the house, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Just a minor fender bender. But we got to do an estimate on the repairs, insurance estimate on the repairs. So we'll be back in Union, Missouri, which is just out St. Louis, for a couple of days. And then we head out to the Smoky Mountains. As you guys know, we're looking for property. So we're kind of bouncing around between, say, St. Louis area, Murray, Kentucky area, and parts of Tennessee, all the way over to the Smoky Mountains looking for property. So we'll be for a week out there, but we'll be bouncing back and forth here to St. Louis. So if there's people in St. Louis that want to get together for a meet up, please make sure you contact us, let us know, because we would love to join there in St. Louis as well. With that being said, so Amy, tell me about your property. So I know you're off grid and you have been for a while, and you got that property, but you just mentioned 2 properties, and I don't think I've ever heard you talk about that. So educate me on your properties.
I have, I actually don't own the property. I have a mobile home and I rent the lot in the wintertime.
Okay.
So I go from there to here as soon as the weather rolls the way I want it to. I was going to build this year, a winter living space to live here, but something told me not to because of this thing that's going on. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to play the price gouging game. I'm not going to play any of that because everybody wants to do something off grid wise building. So all those supplies are a lot more expensive than they would have been had this not happened. So I'm just
Right.
sitting tight.
Right. Yep. Sometimes that's a good idea. So I mean, it worked out for us with the house we bought in St. Louis. But when we bought that in 2014, early 2014, we thought we would be there forever, and we bought it for around 170K, and we remodeled pretty much the whole main floor. So we put another 100K into this house. We ended up making about a $60,000 profit on it when we sold it. So we did okay, but
Right.
that wasn't the intention. The intention was making it our house. And so we just got kind of, I think, a little bit lucky, a little bit fortunate that the area that we're in St. Louis is probably the best remaining area in St. Louis, even though the crime's going up there. And
Right.
everybody that wants to live in the city wants to live in this one area of St. Louis that we're in. So we got a fantastic offer, and I think we were very fortunate because I'm not sure how long that's going to last if the things keep going the way they're going.
Right. You got out while the getting was good. Really, I mean, that's what it amounts to. You see the writing on the wall,
Right.
you know, and it doesn't mean you won't have another place somewhere, but uh, yeah, I mean, I could live in this RV in the wintertime if I had to. I mean, if things take a turn for the worse in any way, I have enough wood I could actually board up this entire unit, insulate it from the outside because RVs only have a half an inch of insulation. And our temperatures, well, you lived in St. Louis, the temperatures get quite low. So I know I can do it
Yeah, I
if I
don't
had
plan
to.
to be in the wintertime, even in this RV. This Class A has heated tanks and stuff like that, but I just don't want to deal. First of all, I don't really enjoy being in the cold weather. Secondly, things break. Things break in the cold
Mhm.
weather. Things freeze up. Things break. It's harder on stuff. So we intend to probably be gone from right after Christmas. We'll leave and be gone January, February, pretty much every year. Of course, you can get some cold temperatures in St. Louis, Tennessee. Any of the areas that we're looking on property are all still going to be below freezing at times. So
Right.
in November and December, we'll have to be, you know, rigorous in making sure we stay ahead of the temperatures. But I really don't like being in cold temperatures in these RVs. They're not really intended for it. Even the ones that are intended for it, or I'm sure
Are
stuff
not.
breaks.
Well, you should have single pane windows throughout as well, correct?
What's that?
Single
Single pane?
pane windows.
Yep. Yep. Everything's single pane. There's nothing
Correct.
that's going to protect
And
you from really bad temperatures, and you'll get that condensation or that freezing on the inside.
ice.
Yep.
I tried
Yep.
it. It doesn't work out well.
Yeah, we're not
But
interested in that. So we'll pretty much be going somewhere warm every winter. Trying to Chris will probably try to work camp, and we'll try to find a place near a beach somewhere. That's what our plan is. We'll see how long that stays our plan.
are you going to look for maybe a home base, like maybe a piece of land, or not
Yeah,
necessarily even a home on it, you know,
that's exactly
that
what
you
we're
can
doing.
go to?
Yep, we've already looked at some. We haven't found anything super good yet. We're looking at primarily um, northwestern Tennessee, um, central western Tennessee. Now we're going to actually move a little bit east because we haven't had a lot of luck. We're still just early in our look, but we're actually going to go all the
Right.
way out to Knoxville. When we get back from Iowa, we're going to go out to Sevierville, which is outside of Knoxville, and there's quite a few properties we're pretty excited about. We're looking at primarily land between 2 to 5, all the way up to 30 and 40 acre lots. We've been looking at. We have looked at some that have like old cabins on them or old homes that need some work. And so we're open into possibly getting one that already has a home on it. But ideally, we'll find some property and eventually build. But probably for the first couple of years, it'll just be an RV pad for us to have a home base.
That'll be nice. That'll be real nice. Okay. I had another question. I hate it when that happens. But you pretty much want to stay in Tennessee. That's the goal, just as
You
far
know,
as home base.
yeah, that's Chris's goal. So we really loved Washington State and Montana. Chris grew up in Washington State, so the climate out there, the scenery out there is fantastic. The summers out there are wonderful. So I mean, you wouldn't be in the heat and humidity like you would be in Missouri or Kentucky or Tennessee. So we really like those areas, but it's long, long ways from all of our family for the most part.
Right.
All of our kids, especially, and our grandkids, and that's really, the most important is our grandkids. And
Trying to
so,
stay central.
yeah, we're trying to stay
So,
close to our grandkids. Two of our grandkids are here in St. Louis, but they may be moving a little bit west of St. Louis, which we're southeast of St. Louis, where we're at now. And our home was in St. Louis, and they've always been west of St. Louis. And now they're looking at moving further west. And then we have one that is in Murray, Kentucky, and we spend a lot of time in their driveway. And then we have one that's in Colorado right now, but they are finishing their last year of schooling. Our son-in-law's in his last year of his bachelor's degree through the GI program, and then he will move to. They've got a home waiting for them that they inherited from Matt's family, my son-in-law's family, in Milan, Tennessee. So Milan, Tennessee is kind of that central western Tennessee area. So
wonderful.
we're trying to stay within 4 or 5 hours, but we also want to find the perfect property. So if we have to go a little bit further away and go into the Smoky Mountains to get that perfect property, we'll do so.
Yeah, I think things will just happen the way they're supposed to. You'll still have everyone within a good range. All your children, grandchildren. That's yeah.
Yeah, and we'll still travel. But Chris, I love traveling. I could pretty much be on the road almost all the time. Chris wants to have more stability, more longer periods, kind of a place or a property to call home. So we're trying to balance that, out a little bit.
Well, you just started going full time, so you will. You will. Take care, nursing our travel bug.
And so I was talking about, and I know you're a deep thinker, Amy. And so we're all about positivity and paying it forward and just enjoying life. My wife and I say all the time, especially when we're around drama and around stress, and no matter how much we try to be content and stress-free, when you're around other people, especially family members that you love and you choose to be around, you don't have to be around family. I mean, you could disappear if you wanted to, but we choose to be around family, and in some cases they're draining with their negativity, if you will, in some cases. And so how do you keep things positive, Amy?
First of all, the draining part I can relate to, and I call them like emotional vampires. Their negativity just sucks the life out of you. And what I do is accept them for what they are, knowing exactly what I'm going to walk into when I walk into that room, and just allow them to be who they are and not take it on and not feed it either. It's a fine line, but that's how I've been doing it. And I really don't have an issue anymore. It used to affect me. It used to really take my awesome mood and make it not so awesome anymore. And I don't allow it anymore, Brad. I just don't allow it.
We're getting closer to that. I think our challenge is now we do well at not feeding it. We do well at not reacting it when in the room. we try to ignore it. Then we come
Now you need
back
an invisible
to
barrier.
we talk about it, and then we feel like it's because we talk about it and we're like, why are they like this? And why it feels like it kind of takes it on. So I think that's great advice, because I think when Chris and I come back together, we need to just not talk about it, just not vent about it, just love them for who they are, and accept it, and let take our smile on that. It's just for us, it's amazing, and I know we're not alone in this. When we look at our kids and see they're so different, not just from us, but from each other. They were all raised in the same household with the same ideals, and they've developed their own. And sometimes they're 180 degrees opposite of what we want. And it's interesting. And they're in their, most of them are in their 30s now. We've got 2 kids left that haven't turned 30 yet. And but all of them still seem to have this, or actually not all of them, but some of them will have this statement that is way different than the way they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or they grew up. But they'll say they've been like that all their life. And it's like, we raised you. We know how you used to be. You didn't used to be this way. You didn't used to be this stressed. You didn't used to be this depressed. And then they say, well, I just hid it all those years. And it's like, I don't know. Is that true? Or could they have really hid negativity and depression until they were 28 years old, when you just saw this happy, fun kid, and it just kind of started at that point? So it just, sometimes I think they say things that if you're with them, and you know them for that long, isn't necessarily true, or you didn't perceive it that way. I'm sure we all do that sometimes.
Right. And I didn't find this inner peace within myself at that age. Excuse me. So life was stressful. I was still learning. I mean, in my 30s and 40s and 20, all of that. I mean, still learning now. But I've also come to an understanding, Brad, with myself, that I've been trying to do this by myself all my life. I have been working alone in essence. And, my belief in God is what it is. But once I reconnected, truly connected, and realized that there's more to this life. And I don't want to get all preachy or anything. I just found that him first, then me, and then the rest of the world. So, but in order for me to connect with God, I had to really love who I was. I had to accept everything about me. This is who I am. This is the way it is. I mean, not if I was a mass murderer, that wouldn't be the case. I wouldn't be accepting that. But, just general flaws, looks, you name it. So once I did that, I connected, it was like an instant connection. And I'm like, well, darn. I didn't know how easy that could be. And now my whole world is just guided. I don't try to do anything on my own anymore.
Right.
Like, I want it this way. And I'm like, okay, well, so I kind of like, just sit there and go, okay, God, what do you want? Because I'm done being, I don't know how to explain it unless somebody's experienced it or they understand it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to explain, Amy. I think it is.
It's just a connection.
I know I've always been myself, trying to be a happy person and try to be get up happy and just try to be nice to people and be kind. But I also felt like I stressed about too many things. And really, just like you were saying, really what changed in my life was finding that supernatural experience, Jesus Christ, God, religion, spirituality. And it got me to the point where the term I use is even keeled. You can basically have an up, and of course you celebrate that up, but you don't get so high that you kind of lose control of yourself. And you're basically not prideful and proud of it, because you're giving a little bit of that appreciation to the spiritual component there that helps you
Correct.
feel that. And then when you have a down period, that's where your hope comes from, right? So
Hmm.
you just stay even keeled. You don't have that big bipolar swing that so many people seem to be blowing in the wind. And for us too, for my wife and I both, it was that religious component.
Yeah, and it's something within. It's so different for every single person and how they experience it and how they choose to. Um, back in the day, I'd be called a Bible thumper at this point, and it's like, no, no, because I'm not forcing anything on anybody. I'm just being me. I'm just doing what works for me. I try to share what I share in the hopes that somebody else might find their own path spiritually. You're frozen, so I'll just keep talking. Um, so that's all I can do. It's all I can do is live my life the way it works for me. Understand that it is not anything anybody should or shouldn't be doing, because what works for me may not work for you. What makes me happy, I have such a sense of happiness, peace, and understanding that I get up in the morning and I'm thankful that I was able to wake up. And then I ask God, what do you have planned for me today? Now, I don't just sit there and wait and listen. I just say, let me know what you got planned for today. And I just go on about my day. And I allow that inner guidance, whatever, some people might call it a gut feeling. I call it just an inner guidance. Stuff comes to me and I just follow it. I know where it's coming from. I really had to step outside of my own ego, is what that amounted to. Um, because in my mind, a type A personality, perfectionist. I grew up with the mindset that I'm right and the rest of the world's wrong, and that's not the case. It's not the case at all. Um, the type A personality has calmed down quite a bit. The perfectionism has calmed down quite a bit. If something doesn't go right, there's always a plan B, and that's where Brad said the even keel thing. That's where that comes into play. I just don't get upset over stuff anymore. There's always a plan B, and when something happens that is exciting and I'm thankful for, it's again, I'm thankful and I thank the man first. I thank God first for any blessings that come into my life, but I don't get so high because whenever you go on that super roller coaster up and down and up and down, it wreaks havoc on your body actually eventually.